so neat to be a farmer in such a small state, because you almost know every other farmer in the state, and to share ideas with, and I think being small is definitely a benefit. Dad told me you'll never get rich doing this, but it's such a noble occupation in my mind that I can help feed people, and I'm very passionate about being able to turn somebody onto a tree-ripened peach or tree-ripened apple. It just really is exciting for me. It doesn't get any better than this. And this is why growing fruit is such a joy for me. T.S. Smith was the founder, and he started the business in 1907. He owned a general store in Bridgeville, which he was also a butcher, and he had two sons, my grandfather being one of them, and his brother, and then consequently another generation, and my brother, my two brothers and myself are now the fourth generation to operate T.S. Smith & Sons. Our primary crops are asparagus, sweet corn, apples and peaches, nectarines, cantaloupes and watermelons, pumpkins. Those are some of our vegetable crops, as well as small acreage of broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage, and kale. We also grow quite a bit, about 400 acres of corn and soybeans, some agronomic crops to rotate on the land. Everything here is harvested by hand. It's very labor intensive, and it keeps us very, very busy.
At T.S. Smith & Sons, we grow probably about 90 acres of fresh market sweet corn that we harvest from the months of late June through mid-September. We harvested today about 24,000 ears of corn, all hand-picked. I have 6 guys who every morning throughout the summer, we start at 6 o'clock. We generally pick what I call a wagon of corn. That's 8 bins on a wagon, and it's a lot of work, it's hard work. It's not for everyone, but we seem to do well at it, and we'll continue doing it as long as it's good and it fits our program.
This is the oldest packing facility in the state, I'm quite sure. And I know for sure the oldest apple grading equipment in the state. It was put in the late 1930s and refurbished in the early 1940s.
They are brought in on a water dump outside the building so that they're not bruised. They float out of the bins as they're submerged underwater, brought up a conveyor belt, and then sorted, and that's a visual sort. They're just picking out the apples and putting them in baskets. If they find any bad ones, they can put them on that top belt above their heads. These are going to another belt down here where they'll be inspected further by those people. There's another belt above there at eye level that comes back up to this line, and they'll further grade them because we're not getting everything. Those apples come through so fast, they're getting 80% of the calls. This is old-fashioned technology, but sometimes older things last a long time, and you can fix them and repair them and work with them for a long, long time.
Oh, the donuts we got into over 30 years ago. I was at the Michigan Hort Society's annual meeting, and at their trade show they had a fellow there making fresh donuts with a little machine, and everybody was saying how good it would go with our cider, so I bought one, and my mother was the original donut lady, and now sometimes I think we're better known for our donuts than we are for the fruit and vegetables. We encourage people to come out and bring their families, because more and more, with such a small percentage of the population being involved in agriculture, a lot of kids don't realize that where their food comes from. It's almost as good as the peach.